Hi everyone. Today I would like to talk about um, data science and machine learning actually jobs in industry. Right. I will talk about their prospect, uh, the difference between the different job families. So this actually the title should be uh, better than the data science and machine learning, but I would say the job in general. Right. So I will talk about the difference between data science and machine learning. There are a lot of confusion I realize in the among people what they think about data science and what they think about actually machine learning. There are different families of data science job in industry. There are different families of machine learning jobs in industry. Sometimes they are exactly treated the same. Sometimes they are treated very differently. Depends on which company you go to, and depends on how big is the company. Is it in tech? Is it in biotech? Is it in defense? Is it in I don't know, space, right? So is it a startup? Is it already a big company? So these are all different factors that you need to consider. But in this, so I will try to create a video series and explain this stuff to people. I've been asked a lot. Let me just tell you the motivation behind this video. I've been asked a lot by many people that it would be great if you can explain in detail what would be the difference between these roles. I work as a research scientist, I work as an applied scientist, I work as a data scientist, and I myself got a PhD in machine learning and causal inference. So I will try to share my experience with you guys. So let's start. You see, there are different job families that when you talk about data science and machine learning in general, people talk about that. They may not be really sure what they are exactly looking for. So I try to first explain about this in this video. So I would say that this is actually part one. Let me just modify that to say that this is um, part one. All right. So let's start. When you talk about the data science and machine learning jobs, or I would say that better data related jobs. This is better. Data science related jobs. This is better. There are a couple of things we are talking about that. There are a couple of major things we are talking about that. We might talk about um, data engineer. We might talk about data science. We might talk about machine learning engineer. And we might talk about machine learning scientists. Now, there are companies that have position called research scientists and then apply scientists. So I would talk about something called research slash applied scientists. Scientists. Um, all right. So let me tell you the skill set and the qualification for each of these and what's the difference between them. So the first thing in this spectrum is data engineer. What is data engineer? So data engineer is a person responsible for managing the database or creating a database. It depends. The job family is heavily different in different companies, but and it's actually very wide title, data engineer. But it's for managing, creating database, working everyday life in the with the databases, pulling data, um, organizing data in the database, doing a little bit of the software engineering role. Now that I told you I want to add something related to software engineer. And in a sense, they need to have, so I would say, the skills. They need to be good in SQL or SQL, however you want to pronounce it, which is the database language. That was, they need to, depends on the company. They need to be perhaps good in PySpark, Spark, maybe Scala, maybe Hive, etc. Maybe depends on which company you're talking about. Maybe Redshift if you're talking about Amazon, but in general, they might be really, they should be really good in the database in general. Now, depends on the company. Data engineers might be should have expertise in creating dashboard. So when I say dashboard, I'm talking about the expertise or knowing, having a knowledge of Power BI, Looker, Tableau, right? So things like Power BI or Dash itself, Looker or Tableau. Tableau. Now, so data engineers about the that I have seen in the industry, they can typically have a bachelor or master. It doesn't really have any. I have seen also data engineer as a PhD, like a senior data engineer. But usually, since you don't really model anything, depends on a company, but mainly that modeling job is reserved for the data scientist. So data engineer, usually in terms of the education, would be really bachelor or master. It can be bachelor or master in computer science or any related actually field, because you need to be good in SQL or databases. And to learn this, you don't actually need any formal training to learn the SQL or database in general, PySpark, Spark, Scala, Hive. You can actually learn it through books, or you can learn it through the YouTube videos. So it's actually pretty popular job title in the market. So that's data science engineer. Now let's go to maybe perhaps the most popular one, which is the data science. A lot of people are interested in this, and maybe they're kind of confused actually what it is, what it does. And it's a confusion actually completely makes sense, because it's very different from job to job, or very different from company to company, even organization to organization within the same company. So data science, I want to make it easy to understand. As you see, it has two parts: data plus science, right? Maybe you should be very good in data related work, or and maybe you should be good in science type of job. So data scientist is a person that is responsible for analyzing data, responsible working with database, working with database to pull data, either to analyze or to analyze and visualize data. For what reason? To make business decision. To make business decision. What else? This is not the primary. This is one of the job, one of the duty. The second one is create a model. Create model or we consider feed the model to data according to business needs. So what does it mean according to business needs? So it's not that data scientists always work in machine learning models. There might be data scientists that work in the like a causal inference domain, time series domain. So data scientists, what some people are confused with this is when someone is hired as data scientist, okay, this person is only running machine learning model. That's not true, right? The data science job is very, very wide. Maybe it's one of the widest job family I can actually find in the market or in the industry, in the entire industry, right? I'm not talking about in the tech. In the entire industry, maybe data scientist is one of the widest, or that's the highest or largest scope, right? So there might be data scientists. Data scientists can work as economists. Means economists can work as data scientists. So data scientists can be computer scientists. There can be a computer science background, economics background, engineering, science role. I had to write STEM actually. When I say science, I mean it can be uh, physics, chemistry, psychology, biology, right? And then it can be math and statistics. As you know, data science is, I will write what the skill set they have, right? And many more, many more. As you see right now, many people actually are transition to data science role, even if when their background is not science or any of the things that I mentioned. It's a very, very wide job family. And I'm going to spend some time actually talking about this. Now, data scientists also, I would write as one of the things they do is that try to communicate the business question and the solution to a stakeholders. You see, these are all the responsibility of the data scientists. Now, what type of job data scientists can do? What type of domain data science can work on a data scientist? Anything, literally. It's not only machine learning. It's gonna be machine learning, feeding machine learning model in everyday life. It can be time series analysis. You see, the boundary between them is really narrow, right? It's not really a border between that. You can run time series model, you can run a recurrent neural network or long short-term memory. Neural network for the time series analysis, it doesn't have to be classical like ARIMA or vector autoregression, right? It can be causal inference. It can be kind of like a web development, working with Flask and Django, like this, Node.js. It can be like machine learning is very wide. I include that it can be like more advanced or less advanced machine learning or classical machine learning models. It can be business driven task, right? Question related to business, the judgment about business. What's the next task? What's the vision for the company? It can be done by the data scientist, a consultation task. It can be data analysis and visualization. Right? So these are all the, it can be database management. And many, many more. You see, it's very hard to describe data scientists. So it's not that when you say that someone is working as data scientist, okay, this person is fitting machine learning model, so he's expert in machine learning. Might be, but it's not only you do machine learning. Data science in different job family, in different companies doing different tasks. For example, I give you an example. A data science at Amazon might do something very different than data science in Medtronic, which is a medical company, and might be very, very different from data science at NASA, JPL, which is a space. And within Amazon, in different organization, a data scientist might do very different tasks. All right. Okay. Now, what are the skills that a data scientist need? Might be the most important thing people always ask me. Data scientists, what are the skills that they need? The skills. All right. So data scientist needs to know Python, or and R, right? These are the dominant language for machine learning. But these are the dominant language for time series. So the dominant language, maybe it's better I break it down. Python, the dominant language for machine learning. It's a dominant language for productionizing a model. Remember, I will talk about software engineering, productionizing model. It's a dominant language, Python, for software engineering. But for now, we're productionizing a model and web development. Web development. It's not dominant language, but you can use the Python for web development, right? I'm not sure it's a go-to language, but like if Flask and Django, for example, I will write Flask and Django, right? And then here for machine learning, you can use a sklearn library. You can use TensorFlow, Keras, PyTorch, so many. PyTorch, etc. Right? Great. So that's what just summary or a very few use cases for Python and data science. Then we have R. All right. So this is a statistical analysis. That's what data scientist does, a statistical analysis. You can use it for machine learning as well. Time series, guys. R is a dominant language for time series. Python is not. Time series analysis. And now, so you can use causal inference here if you would like. There are so many use cases. Or you can also include causal inference. Great. Now let's just continue this list. All right, SQL can be PySpark, it can be Scala. Just this list continues. They have to be good in database. I would say working with databases, the skill set that you need. Now, not every company needs that, working with databases. In subsequent videos, I talk about perhaps some companies in detail, or I will look at some job families or job with each other and how you can actually study for the interview. But then let's continue this list. So what else you need so these are up to now is a programming language that I talk about that. But we talk about this like for a data engineer for analyzing data, working with the databases and all this, creating dashboard. So data scientists might need to create dashboard as well. Depends on how small is the company and how much work a data science. Data science can be like a very full versatile job. Actually, it can be creating dashboard. All right. But then what are the so that's optional related program languages or the designing UI like interface. Now, what about the science part? So data scientists can have any like a background. I've seen data science bachelor, master, and so many others I've seen with a PhD in different domains, right? And depends on a job and depends on a role, depends on a level. They have different skill set. But data scientists usually they need to be good in one of these areas that I mentioned. They need to know machine learning, and I will say statistics literature. One of the things that I will talk about this here is perhaps should be here A/B testing. So here I can write A/B testing as one of the use cases. A/B testing is part of causal inference. So that's why I didn't. It's like a randomized control trial. So, machine learning and or statistical literature, they should be familiar with that. And depends on a use case that they are actually working on. They should be familiar with modeling in either of the mentioned area, right? And what is the mentioned area? These are the mentioned area. I talk about that. They should be able to actually not like subject matter expert in actually in this domain. So actually, this is pretty wide. It's even wider than this, but this is mainly cover most of the data science job that I have seen in industry, whether big or the startup. So mainly, if you have a Python skills or R, and some companies use R more, depends on where you go. Tech is mainly Python, heavily on Python, right? But sometimes you use R also for some modeling tasks as well. Like there are some packages that are available in R that is not available in Python, right? And SQL, the databases, you need to have a good knowledge of that. I've seen there are companies that say that expert is knowledge of SQL. Some companies do not even mention SQL. But just to be in a safer side, you need to know SQL databases very well or well enough. A/B testing is for like part of causal inference. It's like designing A/B testing control and treatment group and the randomization of that to make sure that the result is trustable, and then fitting or running machine learning model and be able to analyze or interpret the result. Otherwise, fitting them is just you type, you install scikit-learn, install PyTorch and TensorFlow, and you import them, and perhaps you can find the example online. But be able to analyze the result, be able to make a business decision based on that. So that's it for the data scientists. So I'm going to end this video right now. In the next video, I'm going to talk about the machine learning engineer, machine learning scientist, research, and perhaps I'm going to talk about machine learning engineer, machine learning scientist. Then in the part 3, perhaps I'm going to talk about research, applied scientist, and software engineering, right? And then in the subsequent videos, I will talk about some of the interview tips and how to actually can be confident about your skills when you are actually going for the interview or for the job. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please ask any question in the comment section. I will try my best to answer your question. And also, if you like the video, please like and subscribe and send this video to your friends. It can definitely help me make more videos, and at the same time, it can tell me what areas I need to make more videos or what area I need to actually focus. So thank you so much.